Hi there, Disney D Prince here. Today I'm reviewing the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Trading Post Customizable Droids. We have, of course, R2-D2. We have Chopper from the Star Wars Rebels series. We have BB-8 from the sequel series. And the one good thing to come from Rise of Skywalker, D.O. Now, as far as I know, these are only available at Target or at Batu at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, California. But since the pandemic happened, Walt Disney World has decided to sell a lot of their stuff in partnership with Target, I think to make up lost profit from people not being in the parks, but that's another story. But these are kind of cute, and regularly they are $14.99. I got them on sale for $4.99 at Target the other day, and I thought, okay, at that price, I can't help but get them. They're too cute, and even if I don't like them, I can give them to my nephews. So let's take a look at R2-D2. Now, I went ahead and I cut all of the plastic already. Or I thought I did. I may have missed this one. Yeah, I did. Look at me. And so we're going to just pop this one open. It's being stubborn. And so we've got the artwork on the box shows some pretty cool features. It does show all of the droids that you have down at the bottom to collect them all. And then it has a pretty easy box to just take them out. So we'll hold on to that box for later. And as you can see, it's basic ties holding it in. Anyone who deals with toys nowadays knows what a pain in the butt these are. But I use my little Gundam nippers to just take those right off because it saves you a lot of time trying to get at them with the scissors. And this generally cuts through them in one go. And so we just take those off and then we just cut these right there. I'm sure you can probably untie these, but I like to just cut everything all at once because it saves me some time. Okay, and now let's see what falls off. So here we have the main body. One of the legs, you can see his cool little jetpack on the side, little flame decals, and it looks like they just snap right in. Yep, they just snap right in there. Doesn't look like there's a right or a wrong way on these legs. Again, you can see that flame on that side. And we just kind of push it in. This does seem a little bit like it would be kind of difficult for smaller kids to grasp, because it took me a second there. And we've got his head. Some cool printing on this fabric, and it's not all printed. This is a patch, and so is this. And then it has the little add-on over here for where if you want to put things. And it does have little holders right here if you want to stick them on keychains, I guess. But let's just pop him right on there. He's got nice little head turning action. Doesn't look like he really stands up on his own real well. No, see, he wants to fall over. You can get him to balance a little bit, but not a whole lot. But he is kind of cool. He is kind of, his body is kind of a pleather material. And this whole part right here is printed. None of this is stitched. but his legs are more of a polyester kind of mesh material almost. General like stuffed animal. And you got a little felt on there. And these aren't printed, they are different material for the flames. So overall, he's pretty cool. I don't dislike him. At 15, maybe kind of steep, but when it's a Disney World exclusive, usually that makes sense. They do charge a little bit more. Let's go ahead and look at Chopper, because I loved Star Wars Rebels, and I'm excited to see what they do with the Ahsoka Tano show, because I want to see if they kind of continue that arc where they left off. But here we go. Again, it opens really easy once you take those off. And so here we have Chopper in his box, as you can see. Again, almost the same as R2. And we're just gonna take these nippers off. But this one doesn't have any of the big tie materials that R2 had earlier, as we can see. He's all little plastic bits holding him in. And so we're just gonna pop these off one at a time and try to get them all off without messing up anything on them, because sometimes when you just pull on these, they do mess up the material and you wind up with holes in your toys, which is no fun if you're a collector. And there we go. Okay. So again, we've got his legs, Chopper's legs. These have a little bit more detail than R2, I think, because he's got this patch right here, which if you can see is like almost like an army green, because he's got a military droid background. And then you do have more of these tubing decals over here. And in addition to that, he's got the printing on there, on that leg. And now we've got his head, which is cool. He does have the patches here. He does have the pleather head. Again, there's a little tool add-on spot right over here. And he does have his little antenna up here on the top with a little dish. And we've got his other leg over here, which is just slightly different, so it's not identical like R2's was, because it does have different printing on the side and it doesn't have that black tubing from the other side, but it's all right. And now we do have his body. Now, unlike R2, he does have a little bit of patching on his body, like this yellow part right here is patching, and it's got the little gold decal right here that is actual thread sewn on to this pleather material. But it has the same kind of printing. Again, we've got that Star Wars tag back there letting you know it's official. And lots of these little plastic holders. And so let's just snap his legs on. You do have to push on them a little bit from both sides to get those snaps to go in to stay straight. But we're gonna just pop it like that. And now Chopper is assembled. Now, again, he does stand up a little bit on his own. I think a little bit better than R2, just because he has this little bump down at the bottom, which is in the series is a third wheel that pops down. But for now, he's okay. Now let's do BB-8. Now, BB-8 is a fun droid. Arguably, I think one of the better parts of the sequel series, but here we go. Now we've got BB-8. BB-8 is only 2 pieces, really, because anyone who's seen the show knows he's just a ball and a head. But he does come with one of these tools that we can take and put on our other droids. And again, we see these almost paper material for the fasteners on the side again, holding BB-8 together. But we'll just snip those right off. And again, we just snip everything. I'm gonna have to pick up a lot of this stuff later because it just sits around on my floor. Okay, so looking at BB-8's head, it is kind of cool, but this one, for some reason, its little secure tab is lost in there. So I'm gonna get real close on these with the nippers. So, okay, so his head is, again, the pleather material. His eyes are the patches, so those are fabric. They do have a different feel to them. He does have this little antenna on the back of his head. Again, there's printing on the top. He has a tool holder over here for his little flame that comes with him. And then we're going to look at him. So he does have a flat bottom on here, and he has 2 of the holders in addition to where I think his head is supposed to go, because it does have a different material. It's not the pleather right around this hole that's not present on these. These have the pleather and additional printing, but you could put his head over here if you wanted. So let's just pop him on. So BB-8 stands better than the other 2 because he does have that flat weighted bottom. And then we have the first of our tools to add on. So again, this is BB-8's little lighter, and it does have that same kind of flame that we saw on R2, that same material, so they just kind of reused that part right there. So that's good. But then we can just pop him right on, and now he's got his little, you know, thumbs up. He's ready to go. And now let's take a look at Dio. So Dio is sitting in here nice and pretty. Okay. Again, see, we've got another case where Dio is only 2 pieces. He is a head and a rolling wheel. But he does also come with one of these tools that we can use later. Let's get him out of these ties now. Okay. Lots of these ties right here today. Consider myself an honorary TIE fighter at this point. Pun intended, Star Wars fans. And we got almost all of them out. Okay. Now let's take a look at Dio. So Dio has this cute little face. So all 3 of his eyes up here are patches, and they are thread lined. He does have a little connector on the back of his head, which is kind of fun, where you can attach a tool right there. And his neck right here, he does have the pleather head printing. He has these fun little antennas on both sides. And then we've got our body for him. So he does have this little, I think it's a mechanism that moves his wheel in his droid design. And he's got little tubing that runs up to his neck. He does only have the one connection to plug in his tool on this side. Again, we see these little keychain holder things almost, and I'm wondering why Disney put those on. other than they maybe were being used to secure the toy into the box. I probably should have taken note of that when I was unboxing it. But let's just pop him on. So we do see on the front and the back, he does have these little printings. And then we've got our tire tracks that go around. Now, he does not have a completely flat bottom like BB-8 did, but there is something like cardboard or something in there that we can see that he's going to stand a little bit better. Yeah, see, he stands all right on his own. Now we've got our little tool. This is our little multi-tool that a lot of times we see R2 pull out. You can think about it as this little plug-in tool sometimes. But, so we've got that. Would snap in right there on the side for him. Does throw him a little off balance, so he cants a little bit to the left now. But they are kind of cool. They are only about, I would say about 7 inches tall once they're assembled. But again, Disney is advertising the customizable. So when you get all of them, you can put them together with their separate parts. So let's go ahead and see what some of that would look like. So Chopper is already kind of a mix-match droid. So you know what? Let's take his more boring leg that doesn't have his big army green patch on it and replace it with one of R2's legs. Okay. So we've got that. And you know what? Just for fun, let's give him D-O's head. Because he is having a C-3PO in the Battle Droid manufacturing moment. He is very mix-matched. So, I mean, they do all just snap on. It's the same connections every time. So you do have, you know, lots of options. Again, not very many options for if you want to customize your BB-8, because he's only got, you know, 3 spots. But, like, if I want to put Chopper's head on BB-8's body, then I can. And you know what? He looks kind of fun on BB-8's body. But you know what? Just to see what it would do. Okay, so the heads... Oh, that's not his head. That was not R2's head like I thought it was. That was his body. So we stick R2's head on the side like that, and BB-8's head on the side like this. And we have created a weird, just abomination of a droid right there. Like, he has 3 heads and 1 brain, I'm guessing. But that would be the bane of C-3PO. But let's see. Because on these, we could also attach our tools. So we could put Chopper has his thing right there. And you know what? We've got R2 has a thing on the side of his head, so we can give R2 a thumbs up right on the side. So, I mean, and we still have a spot for R2, for BB-8 to have some sort of connection. So you know what? For fun, let's connect D-O's head to the side of BB-8. So again, these can become really just as monstrous as you want them to be. So, I mean, you know, we've got a weird, almost an ugly from Freemakers. You know, you can make them as weird and ugly as you want. You know, if you want to stick R2's head on D-O's body, you know, you can. There's all the choices. I think kids would get a kick out of this. But again, if you're buying one, it's not that much fun because you just kind of assemble the one that you have. And for $15, you may as well have bought a way better plush version that you're not possibly going to lose pieces to. But if you can get it at the $5 price like I did, then, you know, buying all four for 20 bucks is not bad. You know, I can mess around with these to my heart's content and, you know, have some kitchen droids to go with my kitchen dragons. But, I mean, you know, the bodies are cool. They're very specific to the character design. For adult collectors, it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for customization, just because this is printed pleather. So, I mean, you could try to paint on this, but I doubt you would. Doubt you'd have good results painting on top of it, unless you use specific fabric paint. But, you know, for a Star Wars collector, for someone that likes to have these toys, or maybe someone that wanted to pick up some of the Galaxy's Edge toys, you know, these are a good, these are a great option for someone who has smaller kids that wants to get them into Star Wars. You know, it's almost like a Lego, but again, these connections give me a little trouble, and I've got big hands, so I can't imagine that little kids are gonna have the easiest time with these connections. Just a heads up to any parents out there that are wondering about it. But, you know, once you get the hang of how to assemble them, really you've just gotta grab by these little near parts and grab onto that plastic that's inside the fabric to secure it. But once you get the hang of how to put them back together, it's not super difficult. But again, kids with smaller hands and shorter attention spans might not love that. So just a heads up, if that's something that you're worried about, you know, is my kid gonna like playing with these? If you can get them all, it's a cool little playset. It does only come with 2 of the accessories that you add things onto, like your tools. And again, those came with BB-8 and they came with DO. So, you know, if you do pick up all of them, maybe pick up 2 or 3 of those if you get them for $5 or below and you have that resource and a time. But just so you can have these extra pieces to really kind of give you more customization options with Chopper and R2. But, you know, as a value, as a Star Wars fan, I like these. They're kind of cool. I would love to see what they would do with a C-3PO version, or maybe a battle droid version. Would be kind of cool to see. Just to see if they could make them about this tall comparatively. Give us one that's maybe about 12-inch, just to give that height, or maybe a K2SO would be kind of fun. But for what they are and for how much I spent on them, they're not bad. And you know what? I would buy them again if I saw them at this price again, because, you know, they are kind of fun. And if I can get another full set for 20 bucks, then, you know, that might be a great gift for my nephew. You know, even if he doesn't really like them, you know, that still, you know, puts me in good uncle territory. So I'm gonna plan to do a few more review videos kind of in this vein as I go shopping and pick up other things. But I'm one of those people that as soon as I get home, I generally unbox things. So my reviews are gonna be a little more staggered, I think. But yeah, you know, it's a fun little toy. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. And, you know, stick around to see what else I talk about. All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.